All right, so we're going to move over to delays right now. Delay is many different avenues that you can go depending on what genre of music that you're playing. We're going to touch on the quick slapback. If you were a chicken pick country player, that's pretty popular in that genre. The rockabilly slapback is very similar. Most of the time they're utilizing analog delays for both of those kind of slapbacks because the repeat is not this crystal clean digital thing. It kind of, when you hear the sound, bap, that's your initial tack. The slapback is kind of a bop, and it adds a little plumpiness to your sound, and that's why analog, analog is a dirty repeat compared to a crystalline digital repeat where you hit and you hear those duplicated sounds, bam, 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 and they don't degrade as the feedback is as your repeats continue to repeat and then slowly fade away. If you listen to something that's real crystal clear digital, that's what they're designed to do. Stay clean from beginning to end. An analog delay is a little bit different in the respect as to where the repeats of it are dirty. They get they're kind of, it's the sound of the pedal really, and I think that's why the slapback players started using analog pedals for that, is because it kind of takes away the synthetic thing that you would be getting from a real clean, snappy repeat, as to where we want this little dirty repeat that follows that note there. We're also going to touch on a runaway delay. A lot of session players I know use runaway delay for effects. You create a sound and then you go back and you marry that into your track, or maybe it's the intro of a song, or maybe you're live and you're coming out of a song and you want to have this thing that just is going, and depending on what you play into it, it can turn into a massive amount of delay that's just starts cascading itself and overturning. You can turn the speed up, turn the speed down during that to create different effects. So that's more of an effect for delay, as to where like the analog delay is going to be, it's an effect per se, but I think, a lot of players that probably started using, I know when I started using slapback chicken pick, and with one tidy little slapback on there, it kind of helps to relax your upper body. It's like putting a little bit of reverb on your amp, but you're not adding any reverb. It just kind of gives you that ambient feel in your rig, and sometimes that can help your upper body relax, your arms relax, your chicken pick, and your whole vibe of your muscle memory. It won't be so dry and to the point, and it allows you to relax a little bit, but also it does create an effect as well. Then we'll talk about dual delays, where we have our amplifiers set up in stereo. So we will set one as, like, say, a quarter note, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll set the other one as a whole note. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and that's how they start lining up. So a lot of players use that in a live sense, like Brian May has his boxes set up that way. So that way he has a nice clean sound right to the front of house, and then on stage for him to listen to only, he has a quarter slap or a half, a half slap and a whole slap, that are decaying out by maybe 3 or 5 or 7 repeats, and it's all designed for ambient, making things a lot more syrupy for you to play on stage and whatnot. So we'll go over a dual delay where we have independent control over left and right. That is really true stereo delay too, and a lot of people have a tendency to mix that one up. So when we listen to our slapback delay in this scenario, yes, we're running through 2 amps, but we're not getting a ping pong effect. We could have this one going bap, bap, and then that's how it sets up. So in my Axe Effects rig, that's a lot of times if I'm playing that country through that, I'll have my ping pong effect slap over here. That's considered true stereo delay when you have independent control of the left and the right side. We have an analog delay that's plugged in mono. I have my runaway delay plugged in mono, and I also have my other delay that we're going to be using to illustrate the dotted A thing. It's very, very popular in today's music, has been for quite a while. Those will all be heard as duplicates in 2 amps. So that's considered dual mono. Only when you can have independent time or ping pong effect does it actually really become stereo